Hello, wonderful world. It's me again, Soleira Green, with my good buddy Denise Furet. And Denise runs a charity in India with a whole school where there's 650 kids and 30 teachers, I think, last I
Mm.
heard. And you do it so effortlessly and innovatively. It just takes my breath away how you do this. So I watched a video of you talking the other day on your new website, which is scigiftofhealth.com, right?
Hmm.
And I thought, oh, we got to share this because years ago when I was doing coaching, probably 10, 15 years ago, if you'd say to people, well, what do you want to do for the world? They'd all say, oh, I'd like to really help kids in an underdeveloped country or place and build a
Yeah.
school and you're doing all of that. And, but you're doing it so in fun and unique ways. I think it's extraordinary. So, do you want to just tell us a little
Thank
bit about
you.
it first, and then I'll start
Yes.
to ask you lots of questions about it as well.
Okay, so like you said, it's a school in southern India in a place called Andhra Pradesh. That's the part of India that it's in. It's about 2 hours drive from Bangalore. And Bangalore is this big hub city of IT. So between Bangalore and this village is like two worlds. You got the city life and then this very rural village, totally different thing altogether. So there's 650 children at the moment. We have gone up to 700 children.
Wow.
They come mainly from the shanty town. There's a shanty town in the village. They're mainly from the shanty town. They live in very difficult for us to understand, like a room or two rooms. That's it, the whole family.
Yeah.
They're very poor. They're farmers. They're children of farmers from very small farms. So that's literally where they come from. And I know you've seen the video, Soleira. You look at them, they've got uniforms paid by the French charity. So let me clarify that. So there's a French charity called Side Children who pay for the education, and that includes the teachers' salaries, the uniforms, and the books, and the buildings. Okay, so they're covering all that. I
Yeah.
came in 2018 to help with more health and well-being. So we do more, breakfast project. We get them bikes so they can come to school if they live far away. We get them glasses if they need glasses. We do dental treatment. We buy them backpacks so they don't hurt their backs, and we get them shoes so they can walk to school without hurting their feet. That kind of thing, well-being part of it. So when you see them in the videos, they're so well and clean, aren't they? The girls sometimes have like flowers, like in India, people put jasmine in their hair or a flower in their hair. And you can't believe these children are so poor. And one of the things I know from the school that the first thing they teach the children is hygiene. That's the very first thing. All children have to go through a whole hygiene program of like to be very, very clean at school. And I think the mothers take so much pride in how they look, with their uniform and their
Yeah.
hair. And yeah, it's superb, really.
Wow. Fantastic. And I know that you do this. I mean, that's a big thing to provide ma breakfasts and backpacks and shoes and glasses and bikes for those who live far away from the schools so they can get the, I mean, that that's amazing to do that. Now, tell us how you do this so uniquely, I think, and innovatively. I often use the word magically for you.
So yes, it's hilarious. You got to think that, I've been doing it 2018, right? So the first project was a bit of a test, which were glasses. The first thing I did were glasses. We tested the children and the teachers, and we got them all glasses. That was my first uh,
Yeah.
try at this
And
of
can I just
trying
say,
to
because
help
in
the
the video
school.
I watched of you, when somebody asked you how do you start a charity, and you said start out with a single project, and that's what you did, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
single project, right? Single project. I had quite a big network at the time. And in that network, I had an eye doctor. And that doctor was part of a organization like Doctors Without Borders. It wasn't that organization, but it was something similar. And these doctors were traveling around the world, doing medical camps. And he had a huge network in the medical world. And he was the one who got me the doctors. He sent me two doctors from a hospital in Bhopal in India, which is central India.
Wow.
So these doctors, they come every year and they travel 24 hours on a train to get to the village. And they do that every year. They do
And
that.
they
And the
do it
same
as
too, every
as
year.
they do it for free as volunteers,
They do
don't
it
they?
for free.
Yeah,
And not only that, is that
amazing.
the hospital in Bhopal pay the train journey.
Wow.
So we take care of them as soon as they arrive in the village. We take full care of them. So we put them up in a hospital, we get their food for them, all of that. But it's amazing. They work totally free of charge. They're there 2 to 3 days to test every child. On the website, you can see how, you can see images of the tests.
Yeah.
That actually, no, you can see the children with the glasses. Probably we should put some pictures of how they do the testing.
Well, interestingly, just a sec while I just put you keep talking because I'll put the shared screen on because I did this. I pulled up your
Oh,
website.
there you go. Yeah, that's from the website, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And there's the gift
Yeah,
of
you can see the
sight.
glasses there. You can see the kids with the glasses, but
Yeah,
it's true that on the website we haven't put like the text. You remember when we were young, Soleira? We didn't have. Now when you go at those machines, you go to Specsavers and you're on this machine.
yeah,
Remember when we were little, we had to look at we had to look and read from a wall.
yeah,
That's the way they do it. Just
yeah,
like when we were young.
yeah,
So and they keep changing and they change the glasses, the
yeah.
the 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 actual glass, so to see what you need.
And then
So
how do
that's the
you
way
get
they
the
do it.
glasses made for that many kids?
Well, so there's a good question because you have an idea. So and then I had the doctors and then so I knew that we could get them tested and then I thought, well, how do we get the glasses,
Yeah.
right? So then I asked the eye surgeon, I said, could I buy them in bulk? And he said, no, because glasses are like shoes, Denise. You can't buy bulk. They have to fit the head.
Yeah.
So he said, you're going to have to work with a local optician. So that's what we did. We talked to several opticians in the village. There's about three, and we chose one of them. And luckily enough, the eye surgeon was actually in India doing a medical camp, and he chose the frames. And they're wonderful because the frames they bend.
Oh,
So
cool.
because they're children, they fall and whatever. So the actual frames they're very flexible. So
Yeah.
he chose those frames. So those are the frames that we bought.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, and then we negotiated a price with a local optician. And of course, each time we buy 200 glasses at the local optician, probably we are the biggest order he has in one blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So I think it's
how do you
30%.
how do you manage to find the money to do that? Not because I was watching on your video as well, you were talking about these innovative ways that you get like people's birthdays and weddings and that
Yeah,
you want to
actually,
say
all
something about how
sorts.
you make the money to do this?
Well, the first money from that first project, since you asked me how I started it, because I think a lot of people will be interested in that if they're interested in starting their own charity.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought I'd pay it myself.
Yeah.
That was and this is important, right? Because in my head, it was going to happen because I was going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then I spoke to a friend in America, and she said, no, no, no. She said, no, you shouldn't be paying for it. You should put a GoFundMe page up.
Of course. Yeah.
And I'd never thought of it.
Yeah.
So I went and did that. And that was in 2018. Is obviously I'll tell you why we do it now, but that was the first time I did it. So I put this page up, right, and I sent it on Facebook. I sent it on WhatsApp to my friends, and all of a sudden I had more money than I needed. So
That tends
that
to be the way with those GoFundMe things. People are very generous, I find.
I
Especially if
think if they know
if you're
you,
doing something meaningful and difference making, and the people are very generous about it.
But they definitely were generous because they gave so much money that I had money to do the dental project as well. So
Wow.
when I was in India, we were just doing the eye project. We finished that, and then all the money had left over. We did a whole dental project with it.
Yeah,
So that's
fantastic.
how it started with the GoFundMe page, right?
Yeah,
Now, what we do, we're obviously years on now. We use now there are platforms that are linked to charities, right? So now we're part of a charity, so it's all official. We can get gift aid, all the numbers, the accounting's all done officially through a charity called Numinous that we are part of.
yeah.
So what we do now, we
And
set
by
up
the
a
way, I
page
want to
like
say that's a smart idea. So you don't have to do all of the normal admin type stuff.
no, no.
Yeah,
So thanks to my network again, I have a friend who has a charity,
yeah,
and he was very kind to let us be part of his charity.
yeah,
So all the money goes through that charity,
yeah,
right? So anybody who donates, it never comes to me or to a bank account somewhere. It goes directly to a company, to a charity called Numinous, who's a registered charity,
yeah,
which is great for us because we get gift aid.
yeah.
So if you pay taxes in the UK, the government will give 25% more. So say you gave £100, we get £125.
Fantastic. Yeah,
So it's fantastic, really, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I heard you say on one of the videos as well that pretty much 100% of the money goes to the kids.
Yes, that's a very important point, Soleira, because for me, one of the things that I struggled with charity in general was that I never knew if I gave £1, how much of my pound is reaching that child that I've seen the
Yeah,
advert for, or
yeah,
the dog, or whoever, right?
yeah,
So when I set this charity up, it was very important that all the money was going to the child.
yeah,
That was very important for me. So in the team, we're all voluntary. Eventually, initially it was just me.
yeah.
It's just, and now I've got two people in India that work voluntarily. I've got obviously the school director works alongside us. In the UK, I have a lady who helps me with the breakfast project
Fantastic.
admin every
Yeah.
month, and I have a lady who helps me with the management of the money,
Oh,
because the
fantastic.
money, you have to know how much is going into breakfast, how much is going, and it's really complicated. So she helps me with, spreadsheets and macros and all that stuff to manage it all. And magically, Soleira, because literally she's done such a fabulous job that all I have to do is spend about 15 minutes a month updating this spreadsheet, and the spreadsheet does everything automatically.
Yeah. How much time in total would you say every month that you spend working on the charity?
I spend about probably on the money side, like managing making sure that we know how much money on all that's going on, probably about half an hour,
Oh my
right?
goodness. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And and then talking to the school and deciding on the projects, talking to the team to decide on suppliers and all that kind of stuff. Some months it might be much, much more. Some months it could be 2 days, right? And some months it could be maybe 3 days, not
When you
more.
say much, much more, 2 and 3 days is what I would call pretty effortless volunteering
Yeah, it's
creation of a
pretty,
charity.
yeah.
That's pretty amazing
And it
that's
all
where, for
happens.
me, you do this so effortlessly and innovatively. It's incredible.
It happens, Soleira, first thing in the morning because India's ahead of us 5.5 hours. So I wake up and bing, right? So I've got bananas, question about bananas for the breakfast project. I've got, we want to do a lunch for the kids, and we want to buy this, or we're brainstorming about the next project. And I
Yeah.
answer very quickly. I've even got an AI thing that I could talk into. It writes really quick in several languages. It's super. So I do it I'm getting even faster with it, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so literally is the team in India are doing the work
Yeah.
of talking to the suppliers and paying the suppliers. I'm just doing the management of the whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Making sure we got enough funding coming in, deciding on the projects, telling them go ahead, just pay, do this, do that. So I'm like an administrator.
Yeah. That's amazing. And, I keep saying effortless, innovative, even magical. So, um, talk for a minute about this idea that you had about birthdays, weddings, and even funerals, kind of thing of
Yes.
what do you do with that?
Right. So in terms of funding, right, we have let me explain because to really we have three types of funding, of which that's one. We
Yeah.
have business funding. Okay, so we have companies that donate a certain amount every year that pays for the breakfast project because that's a very expensive project, thanks to these
Fantastic.
great people owning these businesses, right?
Yeah.
Then we have um, people that just donate, just, they just go, oh, I've got £100 here, Denise, just use it, whatever you need it for, whatever, right? Or somebody says, I would like to help, and we choose a project. We say, oh, yeah, let's do a project. They need benches. That's what we did this year. We bought them all benches. They've been sitting on the floor for years, the smaller
Wow.
ones. So this year we bought them benches, right? So oh, let's work on benches, or let's work on getting pads for the girls for menstruation or whatever, right? And so that's another way of funding, right? And then there's the third one, which you're talking about, which is there's an event about to happen. So it's my birthday, I'm about to get married, or somebody's passed away, it's a funeral. Um, oh, I am going on a long walk, I'm running, I'm doing something really special. And let's get people to fund me,
Yeah.
right? So what I do, instead of them making a GoFundMe page, a bit like I did right at the beginning, they just tell me what they want to do. And I create a page for them. And with them, we decide on the story they want to tell and so forth. And then people can donate to that page.
Instead of
And
presents or
instead
memoirs
of
or
presents.
yeah.
Yeah, instead of presents. So the example I gave in the video was that I have a friend who had his birthday. So instead of presents, he asked people, please donate to the Eye Project. So his birthday paid for all the glasses given to all the children.
Oh,
Just one
wonderful.
birthday, right? Just one
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah. Isn't that wonderful? And even, if somebody's passed on, what a wonderful way to, set up something where you can be remembered because you've made a difference in the world.
Yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
and your funerals, we've had quite a few funerals, and they're parents of friends of mine
Uh,
who knew about the charity.
yeah.
And when rather than give the money to flowers, for example, or
Yeah.
that kind of thing, they've set up a page so that people can donate in memory of their father, their mother, and so forth.
Yeah. And I
And
love
then the
because,
other one's weddings. We had a wedding once,
oh,
and that was a beautiful story, actually, because the couple wanted the money to go for a project, and we chose the shoes. I think they bought shoes for all I think it was shoes and dental. I think we did
wow.
both with their money. And what was wonderful about it is that they had no idea how much money was coming in, right? So they had cash as well giving to them, and we had the page, getting money. And in the end, they gave me all the cash, and we put it all in that GoFundMe type place. And it was a beautiful thing because it was a big project that came out of that wedding. And really interesting. Within a year, they came into some money
They
that
did
they were not
themselves.
expecting that allowed them to buy a house.
Oh my goodness.
And I just thought, isn't that beautiful? They gave all the money from their wedding.
Yeah.
They could have used that money for themselves, right?
Yeah.
Because they were, they were starting out in life. They weren't rich. They weren't like second marriage or whatever, where you've already got everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, and within a year, this money just boom came from nowhere that they
Oh,
were
I
not
love that.
expecting, and they bought a house. And I thought, what a beautiful way of the world giving you back things.
Well, that's the way it works, isn't it? It's this kind of natural flow of abundance when you contribute, when you do something that makes a difference like that. And I loved in the video you also talked about um, get the donors involved in some way, and that's what you're talking about with this. So the people who are donating, whether that's the wedding couple or the birthday person or whatever, they're involved. And you said something about find out ways their genius and passions fit the charity.
Yes. So that's really important. So let's take the example of my gynecologist friend, right? So obviously she works with women. She knows all about menstruation and women's health.
Hmm.
So she wanted to help. And I thought, well, brilliant. We need pads for the girls. Menstruation is a big thing. So she completely managed that, actually. She went over. Normally I would manage the whole thing, right? She would donate, we would work together to choose the suppliers. But she was Indian, and we found a supplier in India, and she negotiated the price for me, which I thought was wonderful. That was that was so that's normally we do all that with the local team, but she really got involved. I mean, she was calling
Yeah.
the charity in India, negotiating the price for the girls. She was really, really involved. And actually, another thing I'm going to do with her is have her through Zoom, like we're doing now, talk to the girls about menstruation,
Oh, fantastic.
about
Yeah.
women's health. So we're going to do a whole program with her,
Wow.
helping the girls understand everything about menstruation and any questions they might have. And then she becomes like a backup doctor for them for any questions they might have.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Wow. So anything else you want to tell us? Because to me, I mean, you're talking max 2 to 3 days a month, max, sometimes less than that.
Yes.
To do all of this for 650 children and 30 teachers in a place where you're really making a huge difference to them. And it probably hasn't cost, unless you're donating, but it hasn't cost you anything other than a little bit of time. And so much, and I think it also probably makes you feel good, and it makes all the people who are donating feel like they're participating, they're having a direct impact. So is there anything else you want to say about that for anybody who's thinking about setting up a charity or any of your magical
Yes.
insights?
So what I would say is that now I can run it at 2 to 3 days because, I've had somebody do a fantastic spreadsheet for me. I've got a team that help me, So now I can do it. And also, as you know, Soleil, you know me for years, my gift is like orchestrating things,
Yeah,
right? More than
you're a
doing
fabulous
things.
organizer.
So, I've got people doing this, doing that, and I just organize the whole thing. That's my skill,
Yeah.
right? However, when I was on my own at the beginning, it took me a lot more time,
Like how much?
right?
When
Oh,
you
at the
started?
beginning, when I started, gosh, one project, just getting one project started could have taken me in a month, that month, probably good couple of days, maybe even a week of
Yeah.
work getting it started, because I was alone, right? So I
Yeah.
had to talk to this person, to that person, and then I had somebody in India help me and whatever. So it's totally different now because now there's a whole infrastructure in place, right?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
also that's one of my skills. One of my skills is simplifying everything so that things work very what you would say magically, right?
Yes.
Very efficiently. That's
Yeah.
that's that's one of my skills, right?
Yeah.
So what I would say if I don't know if I think, yes, it can become magical, but you have to be prepared to put work in to start off. And
Right.
you need to test, like I said,
Yeah.
test, see what works, what doesn't work. You need people locally that
Yeah.
have the local knowledge. That's so important. I could not play that role. You need local people who speak the language, who can speak to the suppliers, who understand the mentality, the culture. That's really important, right?
Oh
So you
gosh,
need
yeah.
to have that team that works with you. Otherwise, you set yourself up to fail, right?
Yeah.
So that's really important in the whole process. The only thing I would say, which I said in my video, is you can do my route, but there's three routes, right? There's the route if you give the money to a charity and let them get on with it. And a lot of these charities are big charities, right? And then you don't really know what happens to your money, but they're doing good work. So you're supporting their good work.
Yeah.
Then you start your own charity, a bit like what I did, right? If you got the links in the countries to do it, um, somebody in the third world, some people might have family there that could help, or friends that could help. A bit like me, I had friends that could
Yeah.
help. So that's one thing. You could go through my journey, which is a long journey of learning and failing and all that comes with starting new things, but very rewarding if you can make it through,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then there's another way to do it, which is that you could become involved with somebody like me.
Yes.
So you don't have to do what I had to do. And you get the benefits of all the infrastructure being in place,
Yeah.
choosing something that you're passionate about. Like I'll give you an example. I have this friend in Spain who's a musician, and she's a passionate musician, and she wanted to teach the children music.
Oh,
So
lovely.
she went for 2 years, a month each year, and she stayed with the children and she taught them how to read music and she started a choir.
Oh, fantastic.
Do you see? So I think it's a question of finding what are you passionate about and how can we bring that out and do something within the charity to
Yeah.
help the children so you can work on your passion while we're helping the children.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, I love it. And I think that the way that you do it, I love it because it lets people be involved and it lets them see the direct impact and all the money goes straight there. I really like that. You don't have huge administrative costs and people are volunteering. It's just amazing, actually. I think that's so wonderful. I wish more people
Oh,
would do it. So
it
if
is a
anybody wants
miracle.
to,
So,
if
Soleira, I
anybody,
find, I think of you sometimes because to me, I think it is a miracle. I call it the miracle school because they have the best exam results in the whole region, even though they're
wow.
so poor. They're
Yeah.
very, it's incredible when you think they have some of the best exam results in the whole region. That
Amazing.
that takes into account, local government schools as well. I mean,
Yeah.
they're a charity school, it's not a government school.
Yeah.
So it's a miracle in that. That's the biggest miracle, really, that they have such a great education.
Yeah.
And the other miracle is that somehow the French charity in France, they're funding the education, and me funding the health part and the well-being, money just comes. And
Yeah.
that is a miracle in itself, isn't it?
Yeah. Because I've seen you even say to me, we're in a conversation, and you'll say, oh, I need maybe 600 or 1,000 pounds, or I need to figure out how I'm going to get X for the kids. And somebody will phone you. Like you haven't
Oh,
even
yes.
done
Actually, I'd
anything.
forgotten. That's so good you brought that up, Soleira. I'll tell you how the process works because it's always like this, right? So I have an idea. It's just an idea. I don't even share it with anybody. It's just an idea. I
Yeah.
might, somebody asked me, "Oh, what you doing with the charity?" Oh, I'm thinking about this, but normally I don't even share it. I'm just sort of ruminating in my head
Yeah.
an idea. So I think, oh, it'd be really good um, to have the pads was like this, but it's like this for everything. So I'll give you the idea of the pads. So I'm thinking, oh God, the girls really need something for menstruation. It's too expensive. It's not right. We really need to do something. And I'm thinking, right, how are we going to do it? And it's just, I'm just thinking, like your brain
Yeah.
goes off in all directions. And I say, oh, I know a charity that does that. Maybe I should call them, but maybe we should look at somebody else. I was in India traveling in a place called Uraville. I saw they had a company that did it. Maybe I should call them. And my head's going off in all directions, thinking about how we could do this. And then all of a sudden, my gynecologist friend says, I want to help you.
Out of the blue.
Idea,
Yeah.
and it's incredible. All I have to do is have the idea, and somehow
Yeah.
out of nowhere, somebody will come out and help.
Yeah. That's why I add magical to the list of effortless and innovative because it is amazing. Even you wanted to redo the website and somebody appeared to do that for you, didn't they?
So, yes, but with the website, yes, I wanted to do the web. I remember the first website I did, somebody's son did it for me for next to nothing. And we
Yeah.
had that website for years and years and years. And it was only in the last month I said, no, we need to get this a little bit more professional. And then I got somebody from Fiverr do it. But she did such a good job, this lady from
Wow.
Fiverr, you know. I gave her very little guidance. I said, could you make this look more professional? And I added some stuff, and woof, she was off doing it brilliantly.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love it. So, any last words for advice for anybody who wants to do something meaningful like this?
I think if you really have a wish to do charity, I think just do it. Just do it. In any of those three, go and help a big charity, come work with somebody like me, or start your own.
Yeah.
Just do it. And the worst thing that can happen is you fail. And so what? At least you tried, right? And in most
Yeah.
cases, you won't. You at least, you'll be able to help somebody. The only thing I would say, be careful when you do charity. That's the only thing. And that's something I mention in the video, Soleira, is that sometimes you think you're helping, but in fact, it's detrimental. And
Uh,
I give the example in that video where my first charity endeavors were in Chile, right? Because that was when I was working with orphans, and I thought I was doing a great job. And I went out and I bought them fancy shoes. I just sold them. Just went out and sold the shoes because they were such lovely shoes that they went to school and everybody was like, "Oh, your shoes are so lovely." And he said, "Okay, well you can have them." And before I knew it, I found out that the kids were selling the shoes.
of course.
So
Yeah.
yeah, of course, you see. So you've got to be really careful. And this is why
Yeah.
working with local people
Yeah.
is so important. So you understand. So that's why, I work very closely with the school director.
Yeah.
So she knows the school and the children very well. And we decide all the projects together, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, and so forth. So what I would say, check your idea. Don't be like me. So, oh, these are beautiful shoes. They're going to love them. Yes, they're going to love them and they're going to sell them.
Well, that's
So,
not so terrible either, because then they'd have money to buy food to do the things they need.
yes, but the danger is, what will they do with the money? You always have to control the money, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you could say, yeah, they're going to buy food or whatever. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen.
That's
So
true.
yeah, very careful. You have to be very careful where money's involved.
Yeah.
You have to be extremely careful how it's managed, right?
Yeah.
So I would say just do it. Don't. It took me quite a while to decide to do this, even though the French charity was asking me to get involved, and it took me years to decide because I felt I didn't have the experience to do it
Yeah.
and the confidence to do it. And actually the confidence has grown over years of trial and error.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
is a question of trial and error, right? It's been more successful than errors, but there have been errors, like in everything in life. So I would just say, just do it.
Yeah.
Right. And
Fantastic.
also, you can learn from somebody like me,
Oh, yeah.
right? Just like I
Absolutely.
learned from you, somebody could learn from me. If somebody wants, I'm happy to share. more advice to anybody who wants to start a charity like I did.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. So anybody who wants to donate or help out in any way. So do you want to just say what the website is for them?
Yes, so it's Sai Gift of Health. So SAI giftofhealth.com. That's the
Fantastic.
website. And then you can donate, and there's the Breakfast Project you can donate to, or the Essential Projects that I call them. You can donate towards that. Or you could just get in contact with me and just say, I would love to work on something.
Yeah.
And you say, okay, let's see what we could work on together. We might come up with something that I hadn't even thought of, which would be fabulous, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. And I
Something
have a
new.
couple of ideas.
We're working on computers at the moment. We're trying to get them computers.
Oh,
So if anybody's
fantastic.
interested in computers, this is my next project, getting them computers.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic. And I have a couple of good ideas for you that I'll share with you
Yes.
when we turn the video off.
Oh, please. I'm so, yes, please.
Okay, thank you, thank you, thank you for being on this recording and for all that you do for the world. It's amazing. I love you.
Thank you, Selena. I love you too. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Okay, lots of love. Bye.
Love.